10 songs one year, and between them a president who misread a protest anthem as a campaign slogan, a man who pulled the bass out of the #1 song of the year just because it felt too conventional, and a songwriter who met the woman who made him famous and she walked away without even saying his name. 1984, the year pop music had more going on behind the scenes than on the charts. The year the stories behind the songs were almost more interesting than the songs themselves. You know every one of these, but you don't know all of them. Starting at number 10. 10. Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Cyndi Lauper. Number 10. This one starts with a label that didn't believe in the song and a manager who did. Cyndi Lauper, Queens, New York. She had been grinding for years before anyone paid attention, sung in a band called Blue Angel that went nowhere, a legal dispute with a former manager that left her broke, a voice that sounded like nobody else on radio and that some people in the industry found too strange, too cartoonish, too much. Then Portrait Records signed her, and the question became, what's the first single? Girls Just Want to Have Fun was written by Robert Hazard in 1979, 5 years before Lauper recorded it. Hazard wrote it from the perspective of a young man bragging about his lifestyle. When Lauper heard it, she heard something completely different. She rewrote it from the inside out, changed the perspective, changed the tone, changed what the song was actually saying. She turned a man's brag into a woman's declaration. The label wasn't convinced. They thought the song was too playful, too cartoonish, not serious enough to launch a career. Her manager David Wolff fought for it. The argument inside the label over the lead single went on longer than it should have for a song that seems, in retrospect, like the most obvious choice in the world. It was released in September 1983. By early 1984 it was in the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Her debut album, She's So Unusual, went platinum 4 times. She won the Grammy for Best New Artist in 1985, beating out among others Madonna. And the video shot on a tiny budget. Her mother plays her mother in it, her real mother, Estelle Lauper, walking into the frame exactly the way she walked into Cyndi's actual life, a little skeptical, a little worried, a little proud. The family in that video is mostly her real family. Label that wasn't sure about the song ended up with one of the defining pop moments of the decade. And Cyndi Lauper, who'd been broke and legally trapped and written off, rewrote a man's song from scratch and made it one of the most enduring feminist anthems of the 20th century. Not bad for a song the label almost didn't release. Number 9. He wrote it in the middle of a divorce and then watched it become one of the most played songs of the year. 9. Against All Odds, Take a Look at Me Now, Phil Collins. Number 9. This one requires you to understand the specific kind of pain that goes into a song like this. Phil Collins, 1983. His marriage to Andrea Bertarelli is ending, not cleanly, not mutually. She leaves him for another man. Collins is in the middle of a world tour. He finds out while he's on the road, away from home, away from his kids, in the specific loneliness of a hotel room when your life is falling apart and there's a show tomorrow night. He writes Against All Odds in that headspace, not in a therapy sessio, not at a piano with a collaborator, in the wreckage of something real. The song is a plea, a man asking someone who is already gone to look at him. Just look at him one more time, take a look at me now. There's just an empty space. That lyric doesn't come from craft. That comes from standing in a room where someone used to be. Director Taylor Hackford hears the song for a film he's making, also called Against All Odds, a 1984 neo-noir thriller. He wants it for the soundtrack. Collins records it. It goes to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in April 1984, stays there for 3 weeks. And then here's the part that still gets me: the Academy nominates it for Best Original Song. Collins is invited to perform it at the 1985 Oscars. And the Academy, in their infinite wisdom, decides not to let him perform his own song. They give the performance slot to And Ranking and a group of dancers who dance to a version of it instead. Phil Collins is in the audience watching someone else perform his song about his divorce at the Academy Awards. He has spoken about it since politely, in the way British people are polite about things that obviously still bother them, but read between the lines and you don't forget something like that. The song lost the Oscar to Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You. Collins went home without a trophy. The divorce was already final. Number 8. He was wearing more makeup than half the women in the room, and he was carrying a secret that the whole world was about to find out anyway. Hey, if you've made it this far, then you feel it too. These songs, they're not just music, they're memories, moments, pieces of us, and every week, we bring more of that back. The sounds you forgot you needed, the stories you didn't know you missed. But here's the thing, you only find them if you're here, so don't let the next one pass you by. Subscribe, and stay with us on this journey, because the next song, it might be the one that takes you all the way back. Let's continue. 8. Karma Chameleon, Culture Club / Boy George. Number 8. And you have to understand the specific cultural moment this song landed in to understand why it mattered. Culture Club London 1982, 4 people: Boy George, Mikey Craig, Roy Hay, John Moss. The tension at the center of the group was personal in a way that almost nobody knew yet. Gold and green, red, gold and green. Boy George and John Moss, the drummer, were in a relationship. A secret relationship. Hidden from the public, hidden from the industry, hidden in the way that gay relationships had to be hidden in early 1980s Britain, where Section 28 hadn't even been passed yet, but the cultural climate was already hostile enough that even ambiguity was a risk. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. And yet Boy George walked out onto every stage and every television appearance looking exactly like himself. The makeup, the dreadlocks, the hats, the clothes that refused to pick a side. He was the most visually androgynous mainstream pop star Britain had produced since David Bowie, and he was doing it on top of the pops at a moment when that took real nerve. Forever, you string along. Karma Chameleon was released in September 1983. By early 1984 it had hit number 1 in the UK, number 1 in the United States, spending 3 weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 in 16 other countries. You come and go, you come and go. It became the best-selling single of 1983 in the UK, and then the machine started to crack. Come and go. Boy George's drug use was becoming harder to hide. The relationship with John Moss, the secret one, the one that had been powering and tearing apart the group simultaneously, was deteriorating. In 1986, keyboard player Michael Rudetsky died of a heroin overdose at George's home. The press finally had what it had been circling for years. The collapse of Culture Club is the story of what happens when the image you present to the world and the life you're actually living get too far apart to hold together. For a moment, those 3 weeks at number 1, that morning in 1984 when Karma Chameleon was everywhere, the image held. You come and go. And the song itself? A reggae-influenced pop song about someone who changes their personality to please everyone and ends up with nothing. About adapting to every color and losing your own. Boy George was singing his own situation, he just couldn't say it out loud yet. Number 7, 2 men wrote it. One of them had never met the woman who recorded it, and she walked away from him without saying a word. 7, Like a Virgin, Madonna. Number 7. This is the story of a song that got written by a heartbroken man in the Coachella Valley and ended up changing pop music forever. Billy Steinberg 1983. He's just come out of a difficult relationship. And then he meets someone new, and the feeling of that new love, the way it made him feel clean and renewed after everything that came before, he writes it down. Shiny and new, like a virgin. He puts the lyric on paper, brings it to his writing partner Tom Kelly in Los Angeles, and they spend months trying to find the right sound for it. But when it got to the chorus and the line, like a virgin, came up, Steinberg said later, it always sounded ridiculous. A man singing, like a virgin, the line didn't work coming from a male voice. Kelly records a falsetto demo. They play it for an A&R executive at Warner Brothers named Michael Austin. He flips for it. He says he knows exactly who should record this, his artist, a young woman from Michigan who's just starting to bubble into industry awareness. Her name is Madonna. This is before Holiday or Borderline have been hits. She's not a star yet. Madonna hears the demo, loves it, records it with producer Nile Rodgers in New York. And on September 14, 1984, at the very first MTV Video Music Awards, she climbs out of a wedding cake in a white dress and performs it on national television, rolls around on the floor. The camera doesn't know where to look. Steinberg and Kelly watch from the audience. Terrified, we worried it would doom the song, Kelly said later. Like a Virgin was released October 31, 1984. It spent 6 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album sold over 21 million copies worldwide, and Billy Steinberg, the man whose broken relationship and then renewed love gave Madonna the song that made her a global icon, didn't meet her until a Hollywood party months later. His partner Steve Bray made the introduction. Steinberg extended his hand, said he'd wanted to meet her for so long. She said, "Well, now you did," grabbed Warren Beatty and walked away. Can't you hear my heartbeat? Steinberg says he was devastated. His partner started laughing, and he's never met Madonna since he wrote the song. She became the legend. That's the music industry in one story. Number 6. 5 musicians from Yorkshire who invented prog rock and accidentally made one of the most unlikely number 1 singles of 1984. 6. Owner of a Lonely Heart, Yes. Number 6. I Need You to Hold Two Things at Once. Yes is a British progressive rock band formed in 1968. The kind of band that made albums with 20-minute songs divided into multiple movements, with album artwork by Roger Dean that looked like fantasy novel covers, with musicianship so technically complex that their fans took notes. Not pop music, not singles, not radio. And then Owner of a Lonely Heart hits number 1 in America in January 1984. Here's how it happened. Yes had essentially broken up by the early 1980s. Creative tensions, lineup changes, exhaustion. Singer John Anderson and keyboardist Rick Wakeman were gone. The remaining members recruited a South African guitarist named Trevor Rabin, who had been writing commercial pop songs. He brought in a track he'd written, something built on a riff, short, punchy, with hooks, the opposite of everything Yes had ever done. Producer Trevor Horn, who had just produced ABC and was building the glossy, maximalist sound that defined 80s pop, came in to shape it. He and the band rebuilt the track from the ground up. The original Yes fans were appalled. This wasn't Yes, this was a pop song with Yes' name on it. The prog rock faithful, the people who had memorized every time signature shift and Close to the Edge, wanted nothing to do with it. The rest of the world went to number 1 with it. And here's the specific detail that encapsulates why this song sounds the way it does. That drum fill that opens the track, that huge, cascading sound that comes in like a thunderclap. It's a sampled orchestral hit, layered and processed by Trevor Horn in the studio. In 1984, that was not something you heard at the beginning of a rock song. It was new. It was strange. It was slightly uncomfortable for people who expected guitars. And it absolutely dominates the first 5 seconds of the song in a way that makes you pay attention whether you want to or not. Yes, won the argument about whether progressive rock bands could make pop singles. They just had to stop making progressive rock to do it. Number 5 is the most misunderstood song of the decade, and the President of the United States tried to use it as a campaign anthem. 5. Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. Number 5. This is the story of a song that got heard completely backwards by almost everyone, including the leader of the free world. Bruce Springsteen, 1981. He's asked to write a song for a Paul Schrader film. He writes a raw, acoustic, devastating song about a Vietnam veteran who comes home to nothing, no jobs, no support, a government that sent him to war and then forgot he existed. The original demo, just Springsteen and a guitar, is quiet, restrained, and unmistakably a protest song. You cannot hear that version and think it's a celebration of anything. Then the E Street Band gets hold of it. Max Weinberg opens with a snare hit that sounds like a cannon blast. Roy Bittan puts a synthesizer riff underneath it that feels like a national anthem. The whole track transforms into something that sounds enormous, muscular, anthemic, fist in the air. The words are the same, the feeling is completely different. Born in the USA is released in June 1984. It's on the radio everywhere. The album sells 15 million copies in the US alone. And in September 1984, at a campaign rally in Hamilton, New Jersey, President Ronald Reagan tells the crowd, "America's future rests in 1,000 dreams inside your hearts." It rests in the message of hope in songs of a man so many young Americans admire, New Jersey's own Bruce Springsteen. Reagan did not quote "Born in the USA" by name. He didn't need to. It was the only Springsteen song playing on every radio in America that week. Springsteen's politics leaned well left of Reagan's. 3 days after the rally, performing in Pittsburgh, Springsteen addressed it from the stage. He talked about what the American dream actually meant to him. He talked about the veteran in the song. He made clear, without mentioning Reagan's name, that the message Reagan heard wasn't the message he sent. With a bandana on and a cutoff shirt and the fist pumping, one critic wrote, "It felt like a celebration of being born in the USA when really it's a defiant song about, I was born in the USA, and I deserve better than what I'm getting." The most powerful man in the world heard a protest song and thought it was an advertisement for his presidency, and the man who wrote it had to explain from a stage in Pittsburgh what his own song meant. Springsteen has called it one of his greatest and most misunderstood pieces of music. He's been explaining it ever since 1984. He's still explaining it. Number 4 is one of the tightest bands in rock history, and the song that proved they were already breaking apart. 4. Jump, Van Halen. Number 4 on the surface. This looks simple: guitar god, keyboard riff, big arena rock hit. Number 1 for 5 weeks, but here's what was happening underneath it. I eat the worst that you've seen. Van Halen, Pasadena, California. Eddie Van Halen, widely considered one of the greatest rock guitarists who ever lived, had been messing around with a synthesizer since the early 1980s. He loved it. He heard something in it. He wrote a keyboard-driven riff and brought it to the band. David Lee Roth hated it. Roth's whole identity was built around the idea that Van Halen was a guitar band. Hard rock. Riff-driven. The synthesizer to Roth was a step toward pop softness that he wanted no part of. He and Eddie went back and forth. The tension between them, which had been building for years over creative direction over who Van Halen actually was, crystallized around this one keyboard riff. And I know! Eddie recorded it anyway. Producer Ted Templeman heard it and agreed it was a single. Roth eventually relented and wrote lyrics for it. Jump was released in December 1983. By February 1984, it was number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, their first and only number 1. It stayed there for 5 weeks. The album, 1984, sold 10 million copies in the US. And less than a year after it peaked on the charts, David Lee Roth left Van Halen the keyboard riff that he didn't want. The pop direction he resisted had taken the band to their commercial peak, and he walked away anyway. Eddie Van Halen said later that the tension around Jump was a symptom of something that had been building for years. Two visions of what the band should be, pulling in opposite directions. Jump was the last moment both visions occupied the same chart position.
Baby, how you been?
Sometimes the thing that breaks a band is the same thing that makes them, and the keyboard riff that David Lee Roth despised? It's the most recognizable thing Van Halen ever recorded. Number 3, she almost turned it down, and then it became her only solo number 1. 3. What's Love Got to Do with It? Tina Turner. Number 3. We've talked about Tina Turner before in this channel, but the specific story of this song deserves its own space. The song was written by Terry Britton and Graham Lyle. They offered it to Cliff Richard first, he passed, they shopped it around. It eventually made its way to Roger Davies, Tina Turner's manager, who was in the middle of rebuilding a career that the industry had written off.
Got to do with it. Who needs a
Tina Turner, 1984. She has been working toward this comeback for years. Private Dancer is coming, the machine is beginning to turn again. And when she hears What's Love Got to Do with It, she doesn't immediately love it.
What's love got to do with it?
She thought it was too pop, too soft, not the direction she wanted to go. She was building a rock-influenced sound. This felt like a detour.
It's a trap, it's physical.
Roger Davies and Capitol Records pushed for it. They heard something she didn't hear yet, a crossover potential that could open doors the rock direction might not. Tina trusted the process. She went in and recorded it.
But a second-hand emotion.
August 1984, What's Love Got to Do with It hits number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, her first solo number 1 ever. She was 44 years old.
What's love but a second-hand emotion?
Think about that, one of the greatest voices in the history of American music, a woman who had been performing professionally since the 1950s, who had survived abuse and poverty and industry dismissal. Her first solo number 1 came at 44 after everything.
Only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposite.
The song won 3 Grammy Awards: Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Pop Vocal Performance Female. And Tina Turner, who almost turned it down because it felt too pop, stood on that Grammy stage and accepted awards for a song she'd had to be talked into recording.
Got to do with it. What's love?
She said once that the comeback wasn't about proving something to the industry, it was about proving something to herself, that she still had it, that what had happened to her didn't define what was possible for her. The song she almost passed on became the proof.
What's love got to do with it?
Number 2, he wrote it in one night because the label told him he had to. 2. Dancing in the Dark, Bruce Springsteen. Number 2. Yes, Springsteen is on this list twice because 1984 was his year. In a way, it was almost nobody else's, and the stories behind each song are completely different.
Messages keep getting clearer.
Born in the USA was a protest song misread as a celebration. Dancing in the Dark is almost the opposite, a song about desperation that sounds like pure joy.
There's a joke, kiss of wine, it's on me.
Here's the origin. Springsteen has finished recording Born in the USA. The album is essentially done. His manager John Landau listens to it and tells him something that a lesser artist would have rejected outright. The album doesn't have a single. Not a real one. Not the kind of song that opens a radio station's ear. He needs to write something new. Springsteen is furious. He's exhausted. The album is done. And now he has to write a single from scratch on demand for commercial reasons that feel like exactly the kind of compromise he's spent his career avoiding.
My hair, my face, and I'm getting nowhere.
He goes home. He sits down. He writes Dancing in the Dark in one night, out of frustration, out of exhaustion, out of the specific energy that comes from being told you haven't done enough when you thought you were finished.
Come on, baby, give me just one look.
The lyric is about exactly that feeling. I'm sick of sitting around here trying to write this book. I need a love reaction. A man so restless and empty he doesn't know what he needs, just that he needs something. He's dancing in the dark because the lights went out and he can't stop moving. They shoot the video in St. Paul, Minnesota in June 1984. Director Brian De Palma, and at the end of the video Springsteen reaches into the crowd and pulls a young woman up on stage to dance with him. Her name is Courtney Cox. She's 19 years old. She has no acting credits. Nobody outside her hometown knows her name. 2 years later she'll be cast in a TV pilot. 4 years after that Friends premieres, and somewhere in the archives is the moment it started. A 19-year-old dancing with Bruce Springsteen on a stage in Minnesota because a director pointed at her in the crowd. Dancing in the Dark goes to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, kept from number 1 by the song at the top of this list. It wins the Grammy for Best Rock Vocal Performance, Male. And John Landau, the manager who told Springsteen the album needed a single, was right.
I go to bed feeling the same way. I ain't nothing but tired.
Number 1. He wrote the last song on the album in a night, recorded it in a day, played every instrument himself, and then pulled the bass out of the final mix because it sounded too conventional.
Baby, I just know.
1. When Doves Cry, Prince. Number 1. And this is the story of a man who trusted his instincts so completely that he removed the thing that every other pop song on the planet considered essential and ended up with the number 1 song of 1984.
Animals strike curious poses. They feel the
Prince, Minneapolis, Minnesota. He is making Purple Rain simultaneously a film and an album, both autobiographical in ways he'll never fully confirm. The movie is nearly finished. Director Albert Magnoli needs one more song, a song for a montage. Prince's character has just lost his girl to rival Morris Day. He's riding a motorcycle. He's thinking about his parents. He's wondering if he's becoming them.
How can you just leave me standing?
Magnoli asks Prince for something to fit the scene. Prince writes When Doves Cry in a Night. Goes into Sunset Sound in Los Angeles, spends 1 day recording and 1 day on overdubs. He plays everything himself, the synths, the guitars, the Linn drum machine, every vocal layer. He builds the whole song from scratch in roughly 72 hours.
An ocean of violets in bloom.
He records a bass line because that's what you do. Every pop song has a bass line. The bass is the foundation. The bass is how you keep the whole thing grounded, and then he listens back to the full mix.
Alone in a world so cold.
It just wasn't sounding right, he told Bass Player magazine in 2005. It was just sounding too conventional, like every other song with drums and bass and keyboards. Singer Jill Jones was in the studio. She said, "Why don't you have it your way?" Prince muted the bass track. No bass on a pop single in 1984. His engineer reportedly told him nobody was going to believe he'd do this. When Doves Cry is released May 16, 1984. It goes to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on July 7 and stays there for 5 weeks, keeping Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark at number 2 the entire time.
Just like my mother, she's never sad.
It becomes the number 1 song of 1984 on the year-end chart. The Purple Rain album spends 24 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200. The film grosses $70 million against a $7.2 million budget. Springsteen himself, asked about being kept off the top spot, said, "Whenever I would catch one of his shows, I would always leave humbled."
It covers me. Can you, my darling?
And the bass line? Prince told Bass Player magazine he hated to see it go. "Sometimes your brain kind of splits in two," he said. "Your ego tells you one thing, and the rest of you says something else. You have to go with what you know is right."
You got the butterflies all tied up. Don't make me.
He knew it was right. He pulled the bass. He made the most unconventional number 1 pop single of the decade, and in doing so he made the argument permanently, definitively, that the rules of what a pop song had to be were only rules until someone decided they weren't.
It's fine. Why?
The song is about inherited damage, about looking at yourself and seeing your parents, about the cycle of pain that gets passed down and the question of whether you can break it. He never broke it completely, nobody does, but he made a song about trying with no bass, on a deadline in 3 days for a movie that still sounds like nothing else that has ever been recorded. That's number 1. That's 1984.